Just this week, the UCP passed a new law, Bill 206, which makes some significant changes to the Child and Youth Advocate's Office. Changes that could put children in government care, some of our most vulnerable in our province, at risk.
The Child Youth Advocate, well, they're an independent officer of the legislature. They're responsible for supporting and helping young people who are involved with the child intervention and youth justice systems. So the CYA makes sure that they can understand their rights, they can exercise them, and their office advocates to make sure that their viewpoints and their interests are heard and considered on the decisions that affect them, things like legislation, courts, decisions, etc.
They also investigate and report all deaths of youth in government care and make recommendations to government in hopes of preventing more. They're often the only advocate these youths have. So what does Bill 206 do to the CYA? Well, something no private member's bill has ever done before. It reaches into their independent office and forces them to hire a new government-appointed employee, a parent or guardian liaison.
Now, all the cost for that liaison, that's going to come from the budget of the CYA. But the liaison is completely independent from the CYA, so that's right. The UCP are forcing the CYA to hire and pay for an employee over which they have no control. So what's this new liaison supposed to do? Well, UCP MLA Scott Sear, the author of 206, well, he says their job is to be a voice for the most important issues for families and ensure they receive resources to achieve best outcomes for their children.
It gives the liaison power to get involved in any government program or service, education, healthcare, anything that involves family and kids.
Now, frankly, there's nothing wrong with wanting to provide help for parents. Hey, they do deserve it. But really, that's the job of government, not the CYA. You know, see, the UCP, they've been in power for 6 years. In that time, they've had complete control of our education system, programs like FSCD that provide supports for parents of children with disabilities, of the healthcare system, of absolutely everything.
So if parents are having a hard time navigating programs, accessing services, or getting supports they need, that's a failure of the UCP government. They're ministers of education, of health, community and social services, people with billion-dollar budgets and hundreds of staff. They could be used to help families today.
But the thing is, they're not. It said the UCP, they're forcing the Child Youth Advocate to hire and pay for one employee to serve the parents of over 1 million children in the province. Doesn't seem to me like that's going to work.
But what it is going to do is take the much needed dollars away from the CYA's crucial work advocating for some of our most vulnerable youth in our province. Bill 206 mandates a 98% increase to their workload with one new employee and no further funding.
And you know, the thing is, the CYA is already short of resources because UCP MLAs voted to cut her budget ask. And that despite the fact that in 2023, Alberta saw a record number of recorded deaths of children in care. And 2024 wasn't much better. So this doesn't make much sense unless liaison's job isn't actually what the UCP say it is.
Well, one liaison can't possibly provide all the services the bill prescribes for hundreds and thousands of parents. But they can serve as an agent of the government who appoints them and forces them into what's supposed to be an independent office.
Now, Scott's here. He's the MLA who brought in Bill 206. He spent a lot of his time in debate talking about parental rights. You know, one liaison, they could potentially cause a lot of problems for schools or teachers on behalf of folks like UCP MLA Jennifer Johnson, who spread widely debunked conspiracy theories that schools are keeping litter boxes in bathrooms for students who identify as cats.
Or the folks who joined member Sear at the UCP MLA Town Hall Injection of Truth, where panels claimed the government is hiding evidence of the deaths of hundreds of children from the COVID-19 vaccines.
So I guess we'll see. What we do know is Bill 206 is par for the course for the UCP, a performative bit of legislation that really isn't able to do much good. It could certainly do real harm to the work of the Child Youth Advocate and the children and youth who depend on their help.
It will cost lives. If you agree, we encourage you to write the Premier and let her know what you think.